kumsakati Voice of Hope is the temper siku 90.5 isakubingelela nomungu phila khona bingelela ka GPS umsakato the big D hamba nawe ke up until ke 6 ke namuhla ke kuningi lesiphathele kona because namuhla we're making history, we're coming on 2 different platforms njobe ke we're live ke on 90.5 or www.voiceofhopefm.co.za kanzi ke sikhona nalapha ke kumabona kutse ke njobe ke we'll be talking about running namuhla ke because of lana ke in the studio we've got our guest ke la is Krysty, a dietitian. Krysty, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Krysty, are you well?
Yes, yeah. Doing a great day. Yeah, I watched my son play rugby earlier today, so that's always a good thing. Yeah.
You know, we want to talk about running. Most of runners they will tell you that the issue of food is important. Do you have an ideal what we call a pre-race meal?
So the pre-race meal depends on the person. So sports nutrition is very individualized. So you have people who are very sensitive to foods that will cause a runner's gut later in their race. So normally what we tell people to do is eat a low fiber diet with lots of carbohydrates the day before.
So if we are talking about low whatever, you know, somebody out there will be able to say specifically maybe the examples of the type of food that somebody can eat.
Right, so that would be something like a plain pasta. It might be mealie pop that you could have the night before. So before a big race, you never want to test a new food. Normally, if you're preparing for a race, you go about 3 months before. You can work with a sports dietitian, and then we test foods when you race to see and when you run. So you can always see which foods you can work with your stomach and which foods don't work with your stomach. So some people can eat during a race. Some people eat like potatoes, boiled potatoes, and some people can't eat at all.
So what we are saying, it's important to take it over time to see what is good for you.
Yeah, so like if you're running a marathon, you don't just start running the marathon the day that you run it, right? So you already prepare months in advance on trying to work up the amount of energy that you need for your race. So the same thing happens with nutrition. And that could be either through supplements or it could be for food. So we as dietitians normally say food first. But when you're running a marathon or an ultra marathon, it's hard to get just food in because the amount of carbohydrates that you need to eat is just massive. So
let's talk about the issue of supplements. How important it is for an athlete to use supplements?
Okay, so the supplements is dependent on the athlete. So if you're eating a well-balanced diet already, and you're hitting your carbohydrates and your protein goals already, then supplements may help. We usually say there's certain vitamins that have to be there to help you to do well. So for example, your vitamin D, your vitamins, your calcium, and your iron. Because when you run, you lose iron every time your foot hits the ground. Yeah, so it's good to test those things. And so we test those things with an actual blood testing place. And then if we see they're deficient, then it can help you. But if you take a supplement and you're not deficient in it, the amount that it can help you is actually quite small.
You know, there's something that I've picked up that we talk about to say it is important to test the supplement, because normally what runners are doing or athletes are doing, they just go over the counter just because of GPS was using this one, was good for him, then it goes to over the counter and just buy whatever that it's available on the counter.
Yes, and it also, runners hear what other runners do, but everyone does this, also from social media. So there's a couple things when you look at supplements. So one is it'll have an informed sport sticker on it. So it's an orange sticker, and that means every single batch of that supplement has been tested. Which is good to know, because they did studies and they found 1 out of 5 supplements actually have either too much of what they said in it, something else in it that wasn't supposed to be there, or not enough of what they're paying for. So people pay massive amounts of money for supplements anyways. So you want to know you're getting what you're getting. And if you're a high-level athlete and you get tested, you want to know that you have a lower chance of getting barred for...
Banned for, banned substance.
Yeah. So anytime you use a supplement, if you're high level, you are at risk. But you'll be lower at risk if you choose an informed sport. So they've got informed sport, which is every batch, informed choice, which is random batches, and now they have informed protein. So
especially if you look at especially runners that are running it's a career, they are running to make a living out of it. For them, it is important to work with a sports dietitian.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we do is something, we start very low. We start where they are. So if they're eating something like, 40 grams when they run, we want to push it up. So you can push it up to 40 grams per hour when you're running, that's a lot. So that's the equivalent of 3 slices of white bread every hour you're running. Some of these ultra races go on for 14 hours. So can you imagine having that much? And that's when supplements can come in, like gels. I don't know if you've seen the gels that they've got. Yeah. So the gels either have caffeine in them and some don't have caffeine in them. So caffeine is another thing. If we go back to the runner's gut, you have to be very careful with it. So some people can handle caffeine and some people can't.
But what about the social runners? Those who are running, but they are not like taking running as a career. But how important for somebody that is doing maybe 42 kilometers, 21 kilometers to supplement, because we are saying the body loses iron the moment you hit the ground. Is it important for anyone that is running to get some kind of supplements?
No. In fact, you meet people who can run the whole race without any sort of supplements. But what's important is you do need to hydrate. So when you stop at the water stations, that's having water the whole time, and you do lose electrolytes. And so you do need to replace those electrolytes, especially if you're in a higher elevation, if it's a humid day, or if it's a cold day. Those are the 3 times when we actually lose more we lose more hydration than normal.
But I see a lot of runners, on the water station taking Coke. Is it Coke?
Coke is a bit of a tricky one because it's hard. So you get when you're running, what Coke can offer a person, that's why they offer it. It offers caffeine. Yeah. So caffeine is something called an aid. It helps you, ergogenic aid. It helps you actually do better because it stops the message to your brain that you're in pain and you can push further. Yeah. Right? And then Coke has fluid, so that you're rehydrating. It has sodium, which is one of your electrolytes that you need. Yeah. So if you are running like that, you're a social runner, you can alternate your water with Coke, Coke, if you can tolerate caffeine. And then you make sure you have electrolytes. Or a lot of people will carry an electrolyte packet with them. Yeah. Or you get the little tab and then you can pop it in there.
So do you really need to supplement maybe after the race then?
No. So you don't need to supplement after the race. So anytime that you do any sort of sports or anything, the best recovery is something that has protein, carbohydrate. So it would be like a carbohydrate that's really easy to digest. That would be something like watermelon, white bread, biscuits or something like that. So
it helps you with recovery?
Yes, because it's digested very quickly in your body. So it's considered a high glycemic index food, which is a bit complicated. But basically anything that you're normally not allowed to have, you can have because you need to replace the carbohydrates. When we eat white bread, it stores carbohydrates as glucose in your muscles and it's glycogen. Okay. So when you're done at the race, you have no more glycogen. You need to replace it quickly. Okay. So what the Coke does, when you're drinking the Coke, it has the sugar. It replaces the glycogen in your muscles. And so does something that's very easy to drink.
So maybe lastly, normally you'll find people buying the electrolytes sachet after the race to take it. Does it help in terms of making sure that your body recovers?
It can help. But what you can do is also drink chocolate milk. So chocolate milk is actually the cheapest thing, the best recovery, cheapest thing that you can do. Because chocolate milk gives you fluid, it gives you all the electrolytes, plus it gives you calcium, which helps your muscles, plus it gives you phosphorus, which helps your muscles, and it gives you protein. So there's 3 R's to recovery, and it covers every single one of those. And it's much cheaper than a supplement, and anytime you use a food, your body absorbs it much better than a supplement. So you would use like the chocolate milk, and then you'd have a nice meal.
Kumsakati Voice of Hope is the Temba Sego 90.5 ke besikhuluma ke na Krysty Dietitian. Krysty, how do they get hold of you if people they want to know more about do you have any maybe website where they can be able to reach you?
Yes, yeah. So they can reach me at www.kwdietitian with a C, dietitianservices.com.
Okay.
Or I can give you my phone number.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that's 082-460-2912, and I'm reachable on WhatsApp.
Okay. Krysty, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I mean, for sharing so much information, because of normally you'll find people that are running, not knowing what to do, what to eat, what is important. I never knew that when you're running, the moment you hit the ground, you're losing iron, which is, something that it's also new to me.
Yes, yeah. There's so much fun stuff to talk about. So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Krysty. Kumsakati Voice of Hope is the Temba Sugu 90.5. Sibonga kakhulu ke ku Krysty lobeka nathi ke asiye la.